Tadesse Werede, Tigray's military head, and Getachew Reda, Tigray presidential spokesperson, spoke a few hours ago. Getachew Reda shared a tweet, and Werede gave a detailed briefing about military situation. I'll have a detailed look at these two developments, especially Werede's briefing, because Werede's briefing is a sort of a plan what TDF or Tigray is going to do in coming days. I think this briefing of Tadesse Werede, it should have been a joint briefing. Debrecen should also have been there, or Debrecen should have briefed Tigrayans, because it was a key briefing. It is telling us about the future, what will happen in future. It was not just about military maneuvers. Tigray Defense Force is doing a large-scale withdrawal. So Tigray's civilian leadership also be on board. It should brief the people about what's happening on the ground. Yes, generals are leading from the front. They're leading this war, but their civilian leadership, because Debrecen is elected president of Tigray, he should tell us what is going to be the next strategy of his forces. He is leading the forces of Tigray because he is elected president of this region. But anyway, what did Werede say in yesterday's briefing? Firstly, viewers, he said Tigray Defense Force is making adjustments. He said, if we take one step back today, tomorrow we'll take 2 steps ahead. So these adjustments do not mean defeat. It's part of war. You withdraw, you advance. So it happens. These are tactical adjustments. And the purpose of these adjustments is that TDF and its assets should not be vulnerable. He did not elaborate upon the details. From which areas will TDF withdraw altogether? We don't know. Secondly, he said the withdrawal, the adjustments are voluntary. I'll speak on these points. Let me just tell you what he said. He said that withdrawal is voluntary. And thirdly, he said that PM Abiy is using it as a propaganda that his forces have won and TDF has been dispersed. And he's telling unarmed farmers to disarm Tigray Defense Force soldiers. And fourthly, he said that dangerous situation was evolving because unarmed civilians were being launched into this war. So that is why Tigray Defense Force has made some adjustments. But no human waves, no technology can stop TDF. TDF will start its operations. It will defeat Abiy's government. It will remove them. Now let me speak on what he said. He confirmed withdrawal, viewers, what we have been saying over the past few days, that Tigray Defense Force is withdrawing from some places. He is calling it adjustments, realignment, repositioning. We call it withdrawal. Secondly, voluntary withdrawal. He said withdrawal is voluntary. It wasn't voluntary in Afar. In afar, they tried their best to reach Mile, to reach Ethiopia-Djibouti road. They suffered heavy losses there. It wasn't voluntary in afar. After suffering losses, they had to retreat. It wasn't voluntary in Gashina as well. Gashina was under drone strikes. And Gashina was very heavily guarded by Tigray Defense Force. But they had to retreat from Gashina. After Gashina and after Afar, the withdrawal is voluntary. Now TDF is withdrawing voluntarily. There is no pressure upon Shivarobit, no pressure upon Sanbate, upon Atayae, upon Karakore. There was no pressure upon these places. Even Lalibela was to some extent secure because more than a week ago, TDF repelled a massive offensive on Lalibela. So there is no pressure on the places from which TDF is withdrawing now. Now, withdrawal is voluntary. But is it due to the losses suffered by them in Afar, in Gashina, and they have this fear that similar things could happen on other fronts too? We'll have a look at that in some other videos. But the withdrawal from Afar, from Gashina, was not voluntary. They were forced to withdraw. They suffered losses there. Now they're gradually withdrawing voluntarily from other places too. Then he said that Abiy Ahmed is telling unarmed farmers to disarm Tigray Defense Force. No, civilians are not in a position to disarm TDF. TDF is withdrawing in large numbers, in convoys. I don't think that civilians can challenge TDF now. ENDF or forces, or regional forces, militias can challenge them, but civilians cannot challenge. It's not that TDF has been totally defeated, shattered and dispersed. No, it's not like that. They have not been cut off on most fronts. They are withdrawing in a coordinated manner. And lastly, his claim that again Tigray Defense Force will launch an attack and defeat the forces. We don't know what will happen in future. That is why I'm saying that Debretsion should have made this announcement. If you are making an announcement about future, that we'll do that in future. So it should have come from the president, the elected leader of Tigray. Generals could have been sitting by his side too, but he should have been leading from the front. What will happen in future, we don't know, viewers. What TDF plans to do. It remains to be seen from how many areas will they withdraw. Will they leave Dassi, Kambolcha and Vuldia too? Will they leave all areas in Amhara to retreat back into Tigray? So, TDF's next strategy can only be assessed after we know from which areas they'll withdraw from Amhara region. But so far, what Werede said, they're confirming that they're withdrawing. Withdrawal is mostly peaceful. It's mostly well coordinated. It's voluntary on the fronts from where they're withdrawing now. Then was before Werede's briefing, Getachew Reda tweeted. He said that Abiy was doing televised bravado about his battlefield victories. He said, we'll see what tomorrow holds for Abiy. So he is also hinting at some future plans that in coming days, weeks or months, TDF will definitely remove Abiy from power. TDF will relaunch its attacks. Overall, we can sum up after having a look at the statements of Werede and Getachew Reda viewers that Tigray forces have adopted a new strategy. Is it strategy of altogether withdrawal? They want to withdraw back into Tigray, regroup and then come back? Or They want to withdraw from some places in Amhara, and then they want to launch offensives on other fronts. That remains to be seen, but they have withdrawn from almost entire North Shore, from several parts in Oromia Special Zone, almost entire Oromia Special Zone to just Kamise is the place we're not clear about. Otherwise, they have retreated from Sanbate, Karakore, and other places in Oromia Special Zone. So, and the withdrawal could now start in North and South Wollo. Already started in North Wollo because they withdrew from Gashina and Lalibela. Now the withdrawal could start from South Wollo as well. Thank you for watching.